y'all, it's your girl, Dr. Nina, and betrayal and trauma. Many of us have been there, done that, but a lot of us don't like to talk about it. And I get it. Betrayal trauma refers to when a person, place, or thing or institution, an intimate partner betrays or harms our trust. It's a big violation. It makes us feel hurt, pain, and emotional distress. Now, there's some types of betrayal to this, and they include abuse or harm from parents, emotional or physical, when failing to meet your needs. Betrayals from romantic partners, like addictions, financial abuse, emotional or physical abuse, or even affairs. Work abuse, like the institution or job you work for, taking up for or protecting someone who's hurt you. Or friends, family, and peer betrayal. And some of us don't even know it's happened to us. But when it shows up in ways like when you find it hard to recognize or even acknowledge your own feelings and thoughts. Physical symptoms like obesity, headaches, stomach pains, and even sleep issues. You might experience being foggy or zoned out. And it even shows up like anxiety and or depression. Over time, this damages our relationships, our friendships, our romantic partnerships. And the gaslighting involved makes you feel like you've gone in the head, like you don't know anything and you don't trust anyone or anything. Click like if you can relate. So today I want to do a good old chat around betrayal and trauma and the toxic relationships that come with those things and how we can heal over time. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. Have you experienced any type of trauma and how are you healing from this? Find all resources and information I provide down below in the description box. And make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, but also in my text community. All you got to do is text me to join the community and get updates when I go live, when I do videos, when I do other events and master classes. And also go over to drninaellishervey.com and get in on my free 8-day supernatural video program, which is going to give you even more tools and resources to help you through your life. All right, y'all, let's get into this video. If you're enjoying the content, I would love to hear from you. So make sure you click like, comment, share, and subscribe. And that's how our community grows and flourishes. And many of you all are telling me you're not getting your notifications. YouTube is tripping. So do your good sis a favor. Go ahead and subscribe. Click the like button. Also turn on those notifications so that you know whenever I upload. So first off, if you've ever experienced trauma and or betrayal, realize that this is not everything and not all is lost. With the right people, the right help, the right resources, you will learn to love and trust again, and you will get to a better place in healing. So one of the first things you can do for yourself is take care of yourself physically. The reason why this is so good, even though it seems unrelated to like your emotions, to your mind, to all of that, it's very much quite related, because a lot of times when we've experienced a lot of trauma and a lot of issues, depression, anxiety, all of that stuff, one of the first things we let go is what? You guessed it, our bodies, our hygiene, all of those different things. And a lot of times it's not just in pampering yourself, it's in the basic everyday needs and care. When we take care of ourselves, we're more likely to feel better about our outlook, about the things that are happening in our lives, about good things going to happen for our lives, because we're keeping ourselves together. We're holding a promise to ourselves. So that's one thing that even when I would go through problems, I had to recognize how it was affecting me physically. And y'all know my story. You know I was over 100 pounds overweight and I lost that weight. But I'm going to tell you what, there were a lot of little traumas and even some bigger ones that hit me that I didn't even realize had affected me physically. I no longer had the drive to really be active, no longer had the drive to take care of my body and my mind, and those things run together. So what I quickly learned is that a lot of times when we give up on those things, it serves as a protective factor, right? Whether or not you want somebody to touch you, to look at you, to say things to you, whether or not you've been run down in the ground, it shows physically. So one of the things you can do for yourself is make sure those basic needs are met. Write them down. Even know what you need every day. I don't care if it's brushing your teeth. Just know that it needs to occur. And the reason why it's occurring is because you want to work through the stress, the pain, the emotions, and all of that through still taking care of you. When you take care of you, you teach others to take care of you. Just remember that. The next thing is to start to lay the law and set firm boundaries. Look, y'all, a lot of us have failed to set boundaries with people in our lives. Y'all know over here I talk about habitual line steppers, people who consistently disrespect you and expect for you to keep on holding the bag emotionally and or physically. A lot of people get boundary setting mixed up with setting limits. They're two separate things. Boundaries are set when there's the potential to be disrespected or when you have been disrespected. What do you do in that moment? How do you lay the law? So for me, a lot of this had to do with work, school, relationships, friends, all of that. Like with your boss, right? I'm not going to answer your calls on the weekend. All right. I'll talk to you Monday through Friday. All right. And here's another thing, like with relationships, romantic relationships, family relationships, we know those can get real toxic. People can tell you what you owe them, what you need to give them, what you need to sacrifice for them. And not all the time is that necessary, especially when it becomes disrespectful or causes you to be emotionally or physically distressed. Yes, some things will happen in life. Sacrifices do occur. But when you're always the one left holding the bag, then you haven't set boundaries. OK, and I always advise my clients, different people I work with, to make sure that you set boundaries before entering any kind of relationship. Know in general what you would like to happen in situations where you're being disrespected or there's the potential to be disrespected. Same thing in relationships. For me, one thing that I do not tolerate, because everything from the dark comes to the light, is if you're cheating on me and I'm in a serious relationship with you. I don't do it. Why? Because it sacrifices my body, my mind, it sacrifices my family, it sacrifices all of those things. And to me, that shows the ultimate disrespect and no care for the person that I am. I don't care how much money you got, okay? How high value you think you are. We don't play those games. So a lot of times we have to know those things so we're not just flying by the seat of our pants and setting boundaries as we feel like we can set them. Make sure you know in your mind what you want. I've also added a link down below which explains boundary setting and just some things you could do for you to stay sane. So y'all, this next one's going to sound weird, but y'all know I'm always a big proponent of your health, emotional and physical. So make sure that you go in and get a physical. So how does that factor into this, Dr. Nina? Okay, well, look, I always say this because especially if we've had intimate partner betrayal, right? If it's a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whoever it is that has defied your trust, or if you suspect someone has cheated on you or sleeping with other people or having interactions that are inappropriate, one of the best ways you can reassure yourself that you're okay, especially when exiting these types of relationships, is to go get a physical. Go get that blood tested. Find out your status. Know what's going on with you. A lot of times we believe the other person who has lied to us over and over. Get this, right? They done lied to us and we expect that they're going to tell us the full truth about disclosing everything they've done behind our back. But a lot of times that is not the case. They're not going to tell you everything. So you're not going to know if you've been susceptible to a disease or if something has happened that you need to check on. And furthermore, let's not even just talk about the STIs and the things that can occur there. Let's also focus on the fact that your blood pressure could be up. Your cholesterol could be off. Your sleep patterns could be destroyed. These are things that you will need to check on. And that's with the peer abuse, the family abuse, the toxic relationships. A lot of times, like I said, that physical well-being goes first, which eats away at and erodes that emotional piece. So getting your body checked and knowing whether or not it's okay is one of the biggest things you can do for yourself to make sure that you are fine. When you reassure yourself of that and find that out, at least you know the decisions and the choices that you can make. You can know that you're not crazy, right? Because you know sometimes people lie to you about the things that they've been doing, okay? But our body tells a whole nother truth. The blood tells a whole nother truth, okay? And outside of praying, of course, y'all know I'm a big proponent of the Lord, but outside of praying and also waiting and thinking about things, take care of your body, find out what's happening in it and know your status, know what's happening with your body and know what type of damage may have been done as a result of a certain relationship and the trust being broken. Y'all, the next thing is to seek professional help and support. And I know some of you all have gotten burned out on thinking of the idea of therapy and counseling and all of these things. And I even saw a comment the other day where somebody said, well, it's just where people take your money and they just be talking to you. Here's the thing. thing. You are also responsible for your emotional well-being. No, the therapist cannot solve all your problems, and that's not what they're there for. They're able to see and use different techniques to help you to get to answers that help you to move forward in life. But you got to do the work. You can't expect somebody to sit up and do all your work. And that's been half of many of our problems, is we expect for somebody else to take the bag when we've been holding it for so long, when we've had emotional distress, when we've had toxic relationships. But remember, you had some work to get to this point. You got to work your way out of it. And that's where therapy comes in. So what usually qualifies us as a person who has, been hit hard with that trauma? One thing is having a history of trauma. Things that have happened to you emotionally, physically, and overall. Being in an abusive relationship, and I don't care if it's emotional, physical, or financial. Financial abuse meaning that a person takes advantage of you in terms of your money. Struggling with your mental health and the ups and downs like anxiety and depression over time. Also very low self-esteem. And growing up in a home with overly rigid boundaries or no boundaries at all. Notice that if you're raised without boundaries, you usually lack them in every relationship you have, right down to work. And if you had no boundaries in the house or they were too rigid, a lot of times you build a brick wall when allowing people in and not knowing when to trust people and always being on edge about that. So when you've been betrayed by somebody you know or something you know, it's hard to know who to trust and when to trust. And sorting through that, sis and bro, it takes work. A good therapist helps you find help. It helps you to find balance for yourself. And that comes first so that you can continue to support the people you love and care about. And that's why I'm happy today's video is being sponsored by Cerebral. Cerebral is a mental health subscription that provides clients with ongoing, comprehensive access to online care and medication management for anxiety, depression, and insomnia for one flat monthly rate. It takes a comprehensive approach to mental health care by providing clients with both therapeutic techniques and medication management, which is shown to give us the greatest benefits more longer term. They also operate from the telemedicine model, so you can schedule meetings with your provider, therapist, or even your care counselor when it's most convenient for you. Therapy with Cerebral can cost 3 times less than traditional therapy. Rather than $500 to see a psychiatrist and $100 more per session, Cerebral offers a consistent flat monthly rate at a more affordable price. Some plan options and instant live visits are only available in certain states and locations. You start by filling out an easy online questionnaire. From there, you can choose to subscribe to one of 3 monthly plans based on your needs and your budget. Subscription options can include a combination of care counseling, therapy, and prescription medication. Plans include video or phone visits with your provider, prescribed medications delivered monthly with your subscription and with free shipping, monthly virtual calls, and unlimited online messaging with a care counselor or a licensed therapist. Connecting for me was super easy, and because this is what I do for a living, I was understanding the approaches and I found them to be quite effective. The provider I used was caring, kind, prompt, and easy to schedule with. If you'd like to take the next step in working on your mental health, click the link in my description box to start the questionnaire and get connected with a provider right away. Your first month starts at only $30. So the next thing, y'all, is more practical. I know that there's a push and a move to move in silence. I love it, I get it, and I understand where it comes from. I don't be on here telling all my business, okay? And I don't tell it in life. But one thing I would say is we should not take moving in silence to the extreme. Telling your story to the right people can actually be very healing, and it can help you move on in your process. And many of us don't learn a lot of times because we haven't heard from people that experience trauma or betrayal or other problems. So we hold on to our story out of fear, out of shame, out of doubt, keeping people from knowing it because we think it makes us look so bad. But here's the thing. A lot of times telling that story can be freeing. Furthermore, it can help you to hear the story so you don't repeat behaviors that have assisted in you being in the place that you're in. Not putting blame or shame on anyone, but a lot of times when we don't tell our stories or we don't find a trusted vessel to put that belief in, then we cannot move forward. You know, when you're telling your story, a lot of times you're actually telling yourself. Even when I came to YouTube, I was telling you all the stories of my life, the things that were happening for me, things that I was proud to share, but yet at one time they were very private and scary for me. I don't necessarily share all my stuff when I'm going through things. Y'all even said yourself, when I would go through breakups or anything like that, it wasn't like I was running to YouTube with them. In fact, I would take a whole hiatus and be gone. And some of my friends didn't even know, because here's the thing. It's not that I was trying to shame or be fearful or doubtful. I wanted to have the right words and verbiage and work through things. But eventually I told those stories and it was quite healing. So you can do that with a therapist or even a trusted friend. The reason why a therapist is because it's going to be quite objective. You're not looking for someone to solve all your issues, but you do want to hear yourself and your thoughts when it concerns a certain issue. Over there in the Dr. Nina's mentorship membership, I had a wonderful member that taught us about the Penzu app, which is an encrypted journal, because a lot of us are afraid of putting our thoughts down on paper. We know that they're not always safe, but something like Penzu is great because it encrypts everything and people can't get into your stuff without a password or any other means. And believe it or not, telling your story, journaling, having an outlet helps us to be vulnerable. It helps us to trust again, to know who to trust. And it helps us to become less cloudy on who's right for us, who's less toxic in our lives, and what we should be putting up with and what we shouldn't. The next thing is to commit to bettering yourself. A lot of times when we go through mess, again, we drop the ball on ourselves. Once you start to heal, you're going to experience a new growth in your life. You're going to desire to want to do more if you continue at it. This can go on for a while. Practicing new skills, getting into new things, getting a hobby, getting new friends, setting new boundaries, setting new networks. Find some of those new passions, but also reconnect with some of the old ones. A lot of times when people tell me they have no hobbies, what I do know is even as a child, they had things that maybe they enjoyed, even minimally, even if it was just running your mouth. Maybe you can find a way to create a podcast. Maybe you can find a way to send out messages to friends weekly that make you feel fulfilled in helping others. Just think of things that really bring you joy over life, over time, and not just what you can remember in your immediate. Think about the past. Think about things that at one time helped you grow, that at one time, even if someone took away the love for it at one place in your life, something that you enjoyed that gave you fulfillment. And this growth can continue for as long as you like. Post-traumatic growth is something that happens after a person has experienced trauma in their lives. It's the result of, or something that catapults us into our best selves a lot of times. But it takes commitment and it takes dedication. It takes looking at where you are and seeing where you want to be. And that's the same thing that I expressed to you all about my fitness journey, about my career journey, all of that. I was often told what I could and would not be, what I wasn't blessed to do, what I would never be. A lot of times people think that that's the only thing that pushes you. No, the commitment pushes you. But I'm gonna tell you what, sometimes being told that will light the fire under that butt, right? So that post-traumatic growth, or what you experience after, helps you to stay focused. I never want to be in that down place again. I never want to be in a place where I allow someone's words to take control of my life, where I allow the things that people say about me to have so much credence in my life, for me to change my health because someone else has things to say, or that I gain all this lots of weight and then have to lose it again because, you know, I'm no longer listening to myself. So think about the growth that you want to make as a result of that trauma. Allow it to make you more resilient, a badass, okay? Allow it to help you push towards where you want to be and who you truly are. And last but certainly not least, focus on building healthy relationships. No one is perfect, and people let us down. We're not even perfect. But in a safe relationship, you feel free to be yourself and you don't feel judged. If mistakes are made and feelings are hurt, you will feel comfortable talking to the other party about it because it's a safe relationship and network. You feel heard, understood, and good about yourself overall. And in order for us to experience some level of success, the top 5 relationships in your life have to feel supportive and safe. And those don't have to just be friends. And also, they don't have to be blood. And if there's a problem with you developing these relationships, if you feel uncomfortable developing a network, if you feel it's corny, or if you feel that it's impossible, that might be a goal for therapy for you, so that you can learn some skills for connecting with the right people, for making adjustments with your attachments. Because sometimes I find, and I found this in the past, when I was going through issues with trust, I didn't know who was in my life and who was in my life for good or that would be good to me. And what I had to learn was trusting myself was the first element. That way I was able to trust my gut and say, look, them bro ain't supposed to be in my life. This woman ain't supposed to be in my life. This person ain't supposed to be around. This doesn't help me feel good. This family members need to be at arm distance or arm length. I cannot handle that. And so when I trusted myself more, it helped me to know who and what to trust. So building that is not always natural. It takes practice, and also it takes therapy and coaching. Yeah. Definitely coaching. And we talk about this over in the Dr. Nina's Mentorship membership. So make sure you check it out. All right, y'all. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. I just thought it was important to talk about betrayal, trauma, and trust, and the things that we encounter and go through. These toxic relationships can seem to tear us up and down, but we can come through it like pure gold. Make sure that you comment, share this video with someone who can use it, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Beautiful brown baby doll. Just so you know, I did it. I finished the mentorship membership for you guys, and it's now live. Check the links down below to learn more about it, but it is full of courses, expert information, webinars, master classes, and everything with yours truly. So I'm so excited about this. This is my project, my baby, and I would love to share it with you. So make sure you check it out and join today. Check the links in the description for my free new Dr. Nina's Mentorship Facebook group, which is a group of like-minded individuals looking to progress, grow, and support one another along the way. The Now That's Life podcast is about to go into season 2, so I suggest you go ahead and subscribe to the podcast on all your major podcasting platforms. All descriptions and links for that and my free supernatural video course are found below. Thanks so much for all the love and support over on my new website. If you haven't already, go ahead and check it out and join me for new ways to interact with me, giveaways and prizes, weekly emails, as well as my free 8-day supernatural video course, which is free when you sign up.